Let's see, what do we have this season? Yep, ReZero, Otagairu, that looks like about it. Nothing else seems too interesting. Rent-a-Girlfriend. Who'd enjoy something like this? Fine, let's just see how bad this is. I'm sure I'll drop it after the first episode. An hour had passed. I had caught up to the 3 released episodes. I sat, perplexed, confused. I hungered for more. What was this feeling growing in my chest? I had to read the manga and find out what happens next. A few days had gone by and I'm already caught up to the manga. How could this happen? What started off as a little dip into an average-looking harem bait somehow has a weirdly loving place in my heart? It's not a good show. It's pretty average, right? I mean, the girls are cute, but the main guy is terrible? What is this? Why do I crave for more? Even though I read ahead, I keep watching the anime weekly. I want to relive the series a second time. I do not recognize the face that stares back in the mirror. I am defeated. I joined the Rent-a-Girlfriend subreddit. I am committed. I am dedicated. I am seeing the series to its very final chapter. To the uninitiated, Rent-a-Girlfriend follows a 20-year-old business admin major named Kazuya. Downcasted from a recent breakup, he downloads a rental girlfriend app where he meets and rents the perfect Chizuru Ichinose. Coincidentally, Chizuru goes to Kazuya's college and is his next-door neighbor, which is further complicated by Mami, Kazuya's ex, who also goes to his college, finding out that Kazuya is dating Chizuru, which sends her into a downward spiral to get revenge on the two since Kazuya couldn't possibly be happy without her. Along the way, we meet Ruka, a 17-year-old high schooler who becomes a rental girlfriend, which might go against some labor laws? Let's see, Japan rental girlfriend minimum age requirement. Sumi, the quiet cinnamon roll rental girlfriend who deserves more attention and all the love in the world, and has a spin-off manga where she becomes Minecraft Steve. And Minnie, the college student by day, streamer cosplayer by night, who is the only one who actually has the power to catalyze story progression. Mix in some stalking, imaginary NTR, enough wanking to single-handedly fix Japan's declining birth rate, best fiche. All of this coalesces into the lovable, flaming mess that is Rent-a-Girlfriend. Now, if I can borrow from Chizuru herself, I don't like the series. I don't not like it either. There's something refreshing about Kazuya being an average 20-year-old college guy that I could appreciate instead of just being a high schooler. The art was cute, and the soundtrack being riffs on classical music was enjoyable, but there wasn't really anything notable that necessarily stood out, so the series had to be carried by the characters. Yes, you have cute anime girls, but that's not enough to carry a series, right? For me, Rent-a-Girlfriend had the domestic girlfriend effect of being a spice fest. It takes about 2 to 3 episodes for me to develop an opinion on whether or not I want to continue a series, and Rent-a-Girlfriend seemingly drags your attention to the next episode. Episode 1 ends with the stereotypical boy meets girl scene and the iconic metamorphosis Chizuru. Episode 2 has Mami inviting Kazuya to her place after a night of drinking. Then the third episode, we're speedrunning the obligatory beach episode, ending with Mami kissing Kazuya.
Holy fuck. Yeah. That's hot.
Who couldn't resist diving back in for more? When I went to read the manga, I'd like to reference an adult Korean manhwa called Close as Neighbors for comparison. I swear I'm going somewhere with this. So the premise, which isn't super important, it's that there are these childhood friends who are now all grown up and adult stuff happens. Like a lot. But I was so drawn to this series that I was still reading it in the front row of my 75-person lecture just minutes before it was starting. Very carefully as to not show anyone that I was reading manhwa, which I'm sure the conversation trying to explain what it is would go as well as explaining what 2x2 in Minecraft means to Gura, but also the fact that it's, lewd. But I took that risk all because of the art of the cliffhanger. Naturally, all pieces of writing in a series should prompt you to go to the next part, whether it's a weekly manga, a chapter in a book, or a movie series. In the cases of Closest Neighbors, Rent-a-Girlfriend, and Domestic Girlfriend, they each had a spicy cliffhanger that left you wanting more. These weren't action-filled scenes where you're wondering who will end up alive at the end of a fight, or epic mysteries where plot threads are all simultaneously being linked up. They're just people living their lives. Although a bit unrealistic, these stories are set in a world and the gossip-loving side of ourselves prompt us to keep going. But every chapter has the same format. The beginning continues from where the cliffhanger leaves off. There's the middle of the chapter, which is generally just filler. Then when you're about to lose interest, they hit you with a plot progression filled with spice, and another cliffhanger with that to-be-continued line just taunting you to keep reading. Rinse and repeat until you're caught in the cycle and you end up catching up to the manga and sunk cost fallacying yourself into coming back every week until it ends. Despite the trashiness of the earlier parts of the series, I think there's things to be learned from here. There's one quote in particular from Chizuru in the first episode that hits like a truck.
寂しくない人なんていないのよ。隠せる人が多いだけ。みんな心に開いた穴を仕事とか恋人とかで埋めてるのよ。
You're taking a guy who has hit the lowest point in his life so far, While getting broken up out of a month-long relationship doesn't seem like that big of a deal in retrospect, at the moment it feels like the biggest hurdle you've ever had to clear. Like life has dealt you the worst possible hand and there's nothing that can fill the void in your heart. It's clear that Kazuya is insecure. He imagines Mami being with some other guy and, well... It's pathetic, and you're meant to see that. He lashes out at Chizuru, who's just doing her job of being a rental girlfriend due to his desire of wanting a genuine relationship and love. Kazuya isn't the perfect protagonist. He's not a self-insert like most harem rom-coms. He's just a 20-year-old kid with self-esteem issues and family baggage. And a massive dong, according to the manga. I'm not sure why I felt the need to include this, but as a JoJo fan, maybe it's my obligation. Characters aside, some want Kazuya to become a better person, and some want to see his face punched in for his actions. But slowly, he starts to improve as a person. There are steps backward, but isn't that life? You could argue that Reggie is dragging out this series, but a possible interpretation of this is that we all want to be the best person we can be. Whether that's for ourselves, a significant other, our friends, our family, there's a version of ourselves that we strive to someday become. We embark on this lifelong quest, and it's not a linear path. There are setbacks, roadblocks, times you are wandering around without a destination in sight. There are days where we take steps and even leaps forward, but there are days where all that progress gets wiped away. And even when we make progress, the goalposts we set for ourselves can unconsciously get moved forward without us even taking time to reflect on the journey so far. As pathetic as it may sound, wrenching a girlfriend was the best decision Kazuya made to start his path to building self-confidence. Chizuru showed what it's like to have someone stand up for you and how much she's willing to overstep the line of being a rental girlfriend just to protect Kazuya. Other characters like Ruka, Kibe, and Shun call out Kazuya for how he interacts with Chizuru, and while change isn't immediate, he slowly makes progress towards being an almost likable character. More importantly, it's through wrenching Chizuru and all subsequent events that he's able to get through his breakup with Mami. Even though Mami is still a relevant character in the series, Kazuya was able to get over that initial slump and goes on to tackle other issues. Before we get into this next portion, I will be talking about the manga. I won't spoil a major plot point, but I will talk about generally what happens in the arc so you can get an idea of how Kazuya improves as a person. If you'd like to skip it, just jump to this timestamp. Chizuru's dream is to become an actress. It's why she took up the rental job in the first place. Not only does it help pay for acting school, but it's additional acting experience. In this one arc, Kazuya helps produce, advertise, and create a movie where Chizuru is the star actress. Looking at his actions from season 1, it's easy to point at him and say it's because he's a simp and he's doing it for his own horned-up reasons, but they sure don't feel like it. He's seen how hard her childhood has been, how much she struggled to make her acting career take off, and just how badly she wants to run to her dreams that he just can't be a bystander anymore. He works tirelessly, without pay, without sleep, just to do something nice for his friend. And the payoff of him making the movie led to what some could argue as being the most beautiful moments in the series thus far. This is Kazuya's biggest step in growing as a character, and there are smaller moments like this sprinkled throughout, like when he gives encouragement to Sumi in her rental job, giving us a smile that we definitely don't deserve. It gives me hope that by the end of the series, whenever or wherever that'll be, we'll be able to look back as fans and be proud of how much Kazuya has developed as a character. Is Rent-a-Girlfriend a romance drama masterpiece that will shape the way that manga of the same genre will be written? No, but it never set out to be that. It's about imperfect people in an imperfect world trying to navigate the messy adventure that we call life. There will be people that hinder our progress, and there will be people that are there by our side to traverse the darkest parts of that journey. But they're just as lost, if not even more lost, than we are. If Rent-a-Girlfriend taught me anything, it's that the most perfect, beautiful, and capable person you know can have just as many issues as the seemingly loser nobody, and that's okay. We're all trying our best out here trying to make the most of what we have. Some days we'll have triumphant victories, and some days it'll feel like the road ahead is dark and full of despair. But even if we take steps back and missteps, getting up, dusting yourself off, and making the effort to just take one more step forward with a little help is sometimes all you need. As of the time of writing, the second season of Rent-a-Girlfriend is scheduled to release this July. Is it going to be any good? Maybe. The new character designs in the promotional art are a lot nicer in my opinion, and getting to hear the stacked voice line again is always a treat. More Rent-a-Girlfriend is always a good thing. I just hope to see the Paradise arc adapted one day, just to have more people experience the pain of how long that arc felt reading it weekly. There's no other reason. Anyway, that's all I have, so to everyone in the world, thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, take care everyone.